Cozy Here With You by miloqu, Chapter 7, Nosebleeds, No One's Point of View. Shoto's and Momo's lips connected as the pocky stick disappeared on their mouths, all soul and thought leaving his body, as he began to run his hands up her back and to her neck, closing his eyes. Shoto couldn't stop to take in a breath, his heart racing as his body shook. Momo was enjoying it as well, her heart fluttering. She moved in more, pushing his back as he grasped more on her back. Momo's hands wrapped around the back of Shoto's neck, his hands around her waist. This is a pocket game, not a makeout section. Denki scoffed, just eating the chocolate straight from the box. Broke the kiss. The moment was ruined. So we totally forgot Mineta was here, but let's just ignore that. Mineta rolled his eyes. Earning the moment. Are you there, Kaminari? If you say that, he shrugs, laughing slightly, eating half the pocky stick at once. Are we done yet? Katsuki yelled, standing up. Mina nodded. I'm way bored. She ate some pocky as well. Then stop eating my chocolate. Katsuki grabbed the block of pocky from Mina's hand and closed it, putting it back in its place. Let's go play something else, like Mario. Mina continued, jumping up and grabbing the Wii controller. Katsuki placed one hand to his forehead, face palming. Idiot, fine, Katsuki replied, grabbing another, but only four can play. I want to play, Denki yelled, grabbing a controller. Me too, Mina yelled. It's my Wii, I'm playing. Katsuki grabbed the first controller. The three looked at the other four in the room. Which one of you extras gonna play? Katsuki asked. Rudely. I think I'm gonna go home, Tetsu said, standing up. The group said bye to her as she left. Mineta followed. So, Denki asked, who's playing? Eijiro's eyes slowly opened as the group talked amongst themselves. When did they get here? He said, sitting up and looking at the rich kid duo. About an hour ago. Mina grinned. When did you get here? He asked, following on his first question. About an hour ago as well. We're all playing Mario. Wanna join? Denki asked. There's only 4 controllers, Eijiro replied. I'm not much of a game girl, and Todoroki really doesn't want to play. You take the last controller, Kirishima, Momo said, smiling. He grinned and nodded, slipping to the floor and picking up the last controller. Stop jumping off the edge, damn it, Katsuki yelled, right in Denki's face. I was just adding comedy, Denki replied. Damn it, the stupid little mushroom made me short, Eijiro yelled, trying to dodge the Goomba. Here, like this, Sasuke said, calming down and grabbing Eijiro's hand from behind, guiding his fingers and showing him how to get away from the Goomba. Thanks, Baku, bro, Eijiro grinned. The two sat in that same position for a few seconds. Katsuki's hands around Eijiro's body, holding on to his hands. Katsuki pulled away, his heart racing. That's funny, you two almost look like Momo's words were cut off, her attempt to make a joke like the others failing. Don't say it. Don't think it. Or you die, Katsuki threatened. Momo nodded and smiled nervously, looking at Shoto. I'm scared, she fake laughed. Me too, baby, Shoto replied, focusing on his phone. Baby, Mina yelled, flinging the controller and hitting Katsuki in the face. Ah! Katsuki yelled as the blood began spilling from his nose. What the hell, Pinky? Katsuki said, and putting his hand over his nose. Oh God, Bakugo! She yelled as she went to help him. Eijiro pushed past Mina and grabbed onto Katsuki, pulling his hand away from his face. Here, hold my sleeve here until the bleeding stops. Eijiro pulled the sleeve over his hand and pressed it against Katsuki's nose, staring him directly in the eyes with a look of sympathy. "I'll go get a teacher," Denki yelled, jumping to his feet and rushing out of the room. "God, what the hell, Mina? He called her baby. It's just a nickname." Katsuki yelled again, blood still spilling from his nose. "I'm so sorry, Bakugo," Mina squealed, pulling mini tissues from the little box in his room. Denki returned with Aizawa 5 minutes later. "There!" he yelled as the two ran into the room. Eijiro sat on Katsuki's lap, with his sleeve over his nose to stop the bleeding. "Kirishima, move your hand," Aizawa said, washing over to Eijiro and Katsuki. He stared for a few seconds, but then moved his hand away from Katsuki's face, who was feeling an extremely bloody nose. "Mina, you must be more careful," Aizawa said, as he wiped Katsuki's nose clean from the blood. "There," Aizawa began, after he helped stop the bleeding. "That should stop the blood." Aizawa stood up and went to walk out of the room, listening to Mina apologizing endlessly to Katsuki. "Kirishima, I'll get you a new blazer." Eijiro nodded in response, and Aizawa left the room, clicking the door shut behind him. "I'm so sorry, Bakugo," Mina yelled, going to hug Katsuki. "Touch me, I dare you," he responded, and she slowly backed away. Eijiro locked his and Katsuki's hands together, staring him in the eye. "Are you okay?" he asked. Katsuki nodded and looked away, hiding his red cheeks. Eijiro grinned and leaned his head onto Katsuki's shoulder, closing his eyes. "Are they really just friends?" Momo asked, turning to Denki. Denki nervously nodded. "Yep, both straight males who love women," he lied. Momo nodded and looked back at them, extremely confused, and not believing the blonde whatsoever. Shall we do some board games?" Mina asked. "Sure," Momo agreed. "Okay," Shoto said. "I'd love to." Denki smiled. "Sure." Katsuki shrugged. "Sounds fun," Eijiro said, moving his head from Katsuki's shoulder. The group played board games for about 3 hours. Then it hit 11 p.m. and it was dark outside. Almost everyone asleep, and everyone was definitely on their dorms. "Shall we get out a movie?" Mina asked. Everyone agreed. It was late, and playing games was not the best thing for this time. "What should we watch?" Katsuki asked, pulling Eijiro close to him. "Let's share a blanket," he giggled, pulling 3 big fluffy blankets from under Katsuki's bed. "I didn't know you liked soft stuff so much, Bakugo," Momo said. "I did," Denki teased, looking at Eijiro. "Huh?" "Nothing." Mina picked up Katsuki's remote and began scrolling through Netflix. "Glee, really?" she teased, looking at Katsuki's continue watching list. "Shut up, Pinky," Katsuki yelled, pushing Eijiro away and crossing his arms with an embarrassment. Mina laughed and continued looking. "What about this?" she asked, pointing at the TV. "I've seen this," Momo said, "when Marnie was there. Such a sweet movie." They all agreed to watch it, so they did. Half an hour passed by, the movie going on. The night was late and it was around 11:30. The group had paired up and were under their blankets. Denki was with Mina, Momo was with Shoto, and Katsuki with Eijiro. "Bakugo, is it heating off in here?" Eijiro asked, grabbing onto Katsuki and sitting extremely close to him, his arms wrapped around his body. Katsuki put his sleeve over his face and wiped the blood away slightly that was dripping from his nose. "Stop it, Eijiro," he gulped. Eijiro linked their hands together once again. "Okay, kidzos, I'm bored," Mina complained. "There's enough of us. Why don't we play spin the bottle?" "Sure," Denki agreed. "What?" Momo, Katsuki, and Eijiro yelled, their face red as hell. "It's settled. We're playing," Mina said, slapping her hands together. Denki picked up a bottle and placed it on the floor as the group framed a circle around it. "Bakugo should go first," Denki yelled. Katsuki argued for a while, ending up winning the argument. This is how we do it. Let's say I go first. Whoever it lands on will have to go next. Deal? Mina said. Everyone nodded and agreed. Let's play. Mina crawled to the bottle and spun it, jumping back out of the way. It span a few times and finally landed on Momo. Guess we got a kiss. Mina giggled, moving forward toward Momo. The two linked lips, but quickly separated and went back to their spots. My turn, Momo said, sort of flustered. She leaned forwards and spun the bottle. It spun until it landed on the white and red-haired boy that sat next to her. Shoto. She blushed. Shoto gulped and moved in. They pressed their lips but pulled away fast, blushing like mad. I believe it's my turn. Shoto moved forward to spin the bottle, watching it go around and around. Ah, Ashido, he said, leaning in to kiss Mina. They felt nothing at all and just moved on. Denki, Mina said, after it had been her turn. She leaned and kissed Denki. They kissed for a good 5 seconds before pulling away. Longest kiss of the game. Who will beat your record? Eijiro said as Denki spun the bottle around. Hey, it's me, Eijiro said, through a very fake smile and nervous laugh. Katsuki felt jealous and rage burn inside him, his heart pounding as his hands gripped under his jeans tight. Denki looked at Katsuki's angry face, not wanting to kiss his friend's crush, but not having a choice. The deed must be done, he joked as a hint he's sorry to Katsuki. Him and Eijiro leaned in and their lips joined. Not even 2 seconds passed, but Katsuki felt his whole body burn. His heart snapping and his soul wanting a way out. His eyes pricked with tears and his breathing heavied. My turn, Eijiro laughed, grabbing the bottle and spinning it around. Katsuki took in a deep breath and calmed himself down, letting his grip go. He wiped his tears away and watched the bottle spin. It's gonna land on Momo. No, I see how. No, Mina, no, Denki. It doesn't seem to choose anyone to land on, but it ends up making the right and wrong decision. Katsuki's eyes widened as he stared at the bottle. He opened his mouth and let out a yell. Me? The two stared at each other's eyes, shocked. Katsuki felt his cheeks burn, his breathing heavy once again, his heart racing, his hands shaking. Eijiro gulped and his cheeks grew red. His heart pounding. Eijiro? Katsuki muttered. The two felt something, a heat, a burning passion. They knew a kiss between them will not now or ever be platonic. They knew that's not in it between them. Two crawled to the middle, everyone staring at them. Bah. Eijiro cut himself off, his heart pounding at his chest. I need Eijiro, thought to himself. He leaned in. A small gap separated the two boys. Katsuki's hand to his, heart beating too fast. If he didn't kiss Kim here and now, he wouldn't be able to move. He wouldn't be able to breathe. He'd just simply die. Katsuki sealed the gap, forming a kiss. The lips locked, the hearts fluttered. Eijiro ran his hand up Katsuki's chest, his eyes closed tight and his cheeks hot and red. Katsuki moved his hand onto Eijiro's shoulder, pulling him closer. The two breathed heavily as they broke lips for a second, not creating a large gap, and not moving to give each other enough time to breathe. They stilled the gasp once again. This time, Katsuki used his tongue. Eijiro wrapped his hand around Katsuki's neck. Katsuki slowly pushed him back, their chests pressed together. They could feel each other's heartbeats pounding. Katsuki pulled away, feeling a little moment of blood slipping from his nose. He stared down at Eijiro, whose lips were slightly parted. Eijiro's hands were around Katsuki's neck, Katsuki's hands around Eijiro's waist. The two sat up and stared, Katsuki pressing his sleeve against his bloody nose. That, Eijiro said quietly, but hearable. The group stared at the two. Katsuki's had his sleeve over his hand, and his hand over his nose. Eijiro had his hand on his lap, legs crossed, and he couldn't look at anyone, just down at his hands. It was nice. End of chapter 7.